Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and happy Thursday. Welcome to the Daily Herold. I'm your host, John Herold. I think I messed up my intro. That's not what I normally say. Anyway, that's fine. We're gonna have a little discussion here to start off the show, and it's gonna be a little back and forth between all of us because it's kind of wild. Scrolling through social media and seeing how many people are like pissed at Trump. I think it's an op mostly. We talked a little bit about this last night on the Power Hour, which, by the way, if you haven't seen last night's episode of the Power Hour, it was a good one. It was a fun one. Lots of laughs and shenanigans. But yeah, that's kind of what I want to talk about. It is the current state of at least the social media echo chamber, which, by the way, isn't even necessarily real. Like, I don't know how much of an echo chamber that really is. And that may not be the sentiment of the people we call normies. And whenever I think of normies, I think of like my text group of buddies that I, golf with, and, they drink whiskey and they're into like stuff that I'm really not into. We bond over golf really now. We don't really talk much politics. They bring it up occasionally if crazy stuff happens, but I don't think I got a single text from any of these people over the shutdown. So that just like shows you how much they don't really care. I haven't gotten a text about the Epstein stuff since like June. They're just not interested. And I think most people fall into that category, minus what we see online, people who live this every day. But yeah, there's been like a dedicated anti-Trump, anti-mega push recently. And it's stupid. But I think it's the point. EC was here. Per JB, normies are people who fall apart if you ever tell them the truth. That's one good way to describe it. But there's also people that we don't consider normies that are in the truther community who also kind of fall apart when you tell them the truth. And those people will just straight up lie to you for whatever the reasons are. So I don't necessarily know if I totally agree with that definition. Phil Scarborough, good to see you, man. We will talk about the Antifa thing, which is very interesting. But yeah, there's a lot of people right now who are black-pilled on Trump. Phil Scarborough, nobody I know gives a shit about the Epstein stuff. I fall in that category. I never got into it in the first place. I never like bought into the mythos, probably because I didn't wake up right away. And I don't know, I never really went down that rabbit hole. So I never got sucked into it. But yeah, there's Kelly Kerrigan. It's not a recent anti-Trump mega. It's just a new form of it. I agree. The genesis of a lot of the anti-Trump hate and the blackpilling, it's coming from the same people that have been doing it since the beginning. But there's a lot more people that are kind of getting sucked into it. And the point I want to make and the discussion I want to have is it's okay to be critical of the administration. And this is a stance that we have taken at Badlands, many of us, since the beginning. Like right away when Trump got confirmed, we were sitting here and we were being like, well, that's weird. We don't like that. We don't like this. And we got a lot of flack for it. Like we did not celebrate everything as a win. Like there were people who completely branded themselves as everything's winning. Everything is winning. That's it. Everything was worth celebrating. But that wasn't reality. It wasn't true. And so when you can acknowledge at least that much, like, yeah, it's not all going to be rainbows and butterflies. It's a little easier to digest the stuff that frustrates you. But what I think Trump is ultimately doing here, allowing some of these things to take place, saying some of these things that we don't like, so far really not sticking to any of the Agenda 47 things. that he campaigned on. I think part of it is to kind of teach us a lot, and I don't even want to use this as an excuse, but it's really the only thing I can think of. Because whether or not he's doing it intentionally, it's what we need to do. We need to learn to live life as American citizens without Trump, without a face of the party, because Trump isn't going to be there forever. It'd be great if he was there forever. Because I personally love the guy. He's hilarious. I think he is doing some psyops and there's some InfoWar level of things going on, and I do believe things going on behind the scenes that will at least allow me to forgive away some of his shenanigans. I think they're more intentional. His administration has no excuse for me, and they're the ones that I think are falling flat in many regard. But regardless, the way our government has been so totally inverted and warped over the past however many years, 160 years, you can go back further probably. We forgot what it means to be like an actual citizen and hold our government officials accountable. And so far, these first like 8 months, however long it's been, 9 months, we've kind of just been sitting here and twiddling our thumbs, and everything we're told that is happening is like, oh, that's awesome. But then nothing actually happens as far as we know or can verify, using first principles and whatnot. And then something like his comments about H-1B visas happens and everybody freaks out. Rightfully so. I mean, you dig into the comments, it's probably taken out of context, and it was definitely a hit job. Laura Ingraham kind of was a little bit of a gotcha. But either way, I mean, it wasn't his best moment. Shouldn't have said it, and people should be able to criticize that and be upset about it. Fair. The Epstein stuff, fair. I'm super upset about this Senate thing from yesterday. We'll maybe go through some of that some more today. All these people in the government that are like, oh man, I can't believe the Senate slipped that in there. Yet every single person who has said that so far voted for the damn thing and snuck it through. Mark Mitchell at Rasmussen has been activated as a negative Trumper, it appears. I'm brainwashed. I mostly watch Badlands. That's cool. As you should be. Wahlberg Forge, just stop all the ops already. I can't afford utilities or beef. I'm with you. And this is where, like, at some point, and I've been kind of waiting for this moment. I think a lot of us at Badlands have been. We've been like, we got to stop trusting the plan at some point, right? At some point, we have to be the ones that recognize, like, oh yeah, maybe the plan is for us to actually do something, get loud and do something. I don't know what that something is yet. I don't have all the answers. But like sitting on the sideline cheerleading everything that happens, and then or excusing away the things that don't seem great isn't solving the problem. Our government shut down, and we were promised, not really promised, but it was heavily implied that this shutdown was going to lead to large numbers of reduction in force. Like that was a weapon that was being kind of dangled at us and dangled against the Democrats. It's like, well, if you keep this shutdown going, we're just going to fire a whole bunch of people. Don't make us do it. Don't make us do it. And we talked about on this show and other shows, and other people talked about like how Russ Vought was sending out, letters to the agencies like, oh, prepare your reduction in force notices because we're going to fire a whole bunch of people during the shutdown. You know how many people got let go? There were roughly 750 people that were furloughed. Of those 750, about 4,200 received reduction in force notice letters. And that happened like within the first week. And we didn't get any other after that. It did get challenged in court, whatever. Maybe that's why they stopped doing it. But that's it. 0.56% of the furloughed employees were given a reduction in force notice. And that's only 0.14% of the total 3 million, not including active duty military, but 3 million government employees who were fired. Like, we were going to use this as an opportunity to reduce fraud, waste, and abuse. We didn't do it. And we're not even sure 100% if those people that were given reduction in force notices are going to actually be fired. They may get invited back. There's been like no talk or confirmation about it. It's like, what the hell? We keep talking about Doge and all the effect it's having at the all these agencies, and eventually we're going to get a report and it's going to be like, oh, $2 trillion of waste, we're going to cut it all. There hasn't really been any indication that that's actually happening. I think we've, and again, I'm not black pill. I just want a disclaimer. I'm happy. I feel like I'm white pilled because I feel like I can see clearly, and I don't see everything perfectly, but I feel like I can clearly see like the ops going on, and I feel like I can see that the point here is for us to vocally talk about these things and get other people to vocally talk about these things until enough people start vocally talking about these things that there's some form of forced change imposed upon our elected, in quotes, officials. Like we're so far, this administration, not Trump is not to be blamed for this. I think his administration has fallen flat so far. And there are some things I'm willing to give some time on, like, and benefit of the doubt, like some of the effects of the tariffs and the trade deals and the External Revenue Service and some of those more economic things, and bringing domestic manufacturing back, and those things I understand. Those can't happen overnight. But there are some things that can happen overnight. And we haven't gotten them. And I think we need to start vocalizing that. But I think what really kicked it for me about where, Trump has been saying we need the filibuster, and that's how we're going to fix everything. And I've been saying as a counterpoint to that, like, we can't expect the elected officials to do anything to change a system that they're beneficiaries of. Like, they're not going to use the filibuster to fix our elections when they're the ones that are in office because of the fraudulent election system. That's not going to happen. It's not realistic. And Trump knows that. But what really pissed me off was yesterday's Senate thing, where those 8 mofos included in that Senate bill, the deal where they can personally, though only those 8 people can get rich off of our backs by creating a law and backdating it so that they benefit from it and can sue the government and make $500,000 or minimum, pretty much. That's ridiculous. We're going to expect those people to remove the filibuster and do what's best for the American people? No. They clearly only do what's best for them. And every single person who voted for that bill, there is no excuse that's good enough as to why they voted for it. Every senator has a responsibility to read every one of those bills, every line of it. None of them did it. They snuck it in there. The House had 2 days to go through that bill. 2 days. And as soon as they recognized what was in it, because there were people asking questions before they voted on it, as soon as they saw what was in there, they shouldn't have voted on it. They should have kicked it back to the Senate. Why didn't they do that? Were they in that much of a rush to reopen the government? Was it that important to reopen the government? No, it wasn't. Not over that BS. There is no excuse. And then Trump signed it. And it is totally fair game for the press corps to be asking Trump why he signed a bill that allows 8 Republican senators to personally enrich themselves over a crime of the Biden administration. And it's not just, I may not even be that mad if they allowed it for everybody, but they still backdated. Like, that was BS. Like, could you imagine if the Democrats did the same thing, how everybody would be up in arms about it? It's the principle of it. Like, we should be allowed to be upset over the principle of things. And that's something that I think, like, we lost over the first 8 months of this administration. And I think it's coming back. And I think that's a good thing. And I think that's the point. There's no reason to turn on Trump over it. That's stupid. Like saying that MAGA is dead because Trump said something about H-1B. Stupid. Those people are not your friends. They're either intentionally trying to sabotage Trump, or they're too stupid to understand any aspect of information war, use any critical thinking. But there are some things that are worth criticism. But if MAGA is dead because Trump said something you don't like, MAGA it wasn't alive in the first place. MAGA is not Trump. Trump is the face of it. He reignited a spirit in a lot of people, but that's not his. We're all co-founders of MAGA. And that's core, like it's America first principles, which is what we should be advocating for at all times. It's not 8 senators first principles. It's America first principles. And it's ridiculous. But I think it's a good thing. We need the friction. This is what we were talking about at GART. Badlands is highly frictional. We do our best to like be the tip of the spear, or as we said last night, the driving horse in the news. We see issues and we talk about it. We don't care what people say about us. It's not always fun, but we don't care because we see what's important. And the friction that we thrive on is what is needed. We need the friction back. We need the healthy, honest debate back. People that are like shaming others outside of the movement because they aren't celebrating every little thing as a win. That's got to end. Those people are holding progress back, in my opinion. So it's stupid. It's all stupid. Twitter sometimes is so dumb. I was going to talk about. Oh, there's another post I saw, like something about betrayal, and I don't remember my point on it. But somebody's like, "Oh, Trump, I feel betrayed by Trump and whatnot." I don't think that's the right point of view either. Like, if you were 100% relying on Trump to do everything for you, then yeah, I get why you might feel betrayed. But if you aren't relying on somebody in government to fix your problems for you, you won't feel betrayed. Like, people need to start taking personal responsibility for themselves and their situation, but then also some personal responsibility and maybe some activation, like get a little more activated in securing your children's future. Like, what are you doing? Like, I know I'm sitting here and I'm complaining on the internet, but we're participating in the info war. But there's nothing really Trump, I think, could ever do that would make me feel betrayed, because I feel like at least I have some skin in the game. We're trying. We're creating these Badlanders groups. We're doing the meetups. We were discussing at GART, like, what the next step is. Like, how do we start infiltrating precinct levels? Do we start encouraging that from the Badlanders? Like, what's the next steps? We're brainstorming. If you have ideas, we're all ears. But anyway, Def Chev, John Herold for U.S. Senate. You spelled my name wrong, one. But number 2, I'd only run for Senate if I too can get a law created and backdated that I get $500,000 if I am wrongly sued. How about that? Stop sending kids to indoctrination camps. Yep. And this is another thing. Like, it's one of the things I see people say when you're like, well, you could homeschool your kids. And I personally do not homeschool my kids. So I don't want to come off as a hypocrite. Maybe I am, but I'm going to say my point anyway. I do send my kids to a private school, a school that I went to myself. My dad works at. I used to work there. I know the people personally. It's a great school. Catholic school system, Christ-centered education. It's amazing. My kids love it. They're thriving there. But I know not everybody can do that. And I know not everybody can homeschool their kids either. Like, there are affordability issues. I get it. But there are things people can do, some sacrifices that can be made to address some of those things. But we have been relying on Trump. A lot of people have been like waiting on Trump to, like, hey man, when are you gonna dismantle the Department of Education like you said you would? Hasn't happened yet. So you're just gonna keep waiting for him to do it? Or figure out a way, get with a group of people in your community and figure something out. Again, I don't know what the answer is, but I'm just saying, like, at some point, you can't just rely on Trump, because what if we've been wrong about something along the way? That would leave you feeling betrayed. I homeschooled my kids for $600 for the year for the curriculum. I think the hard part with the homeschooling is, like, giving up a salary. But that's another thing, like, well, if we fix the economy and stuff, get the 50-year mortgages out there for everybody, maybe I can afford to homeschool my kids. Because the affordability right now, that doesn't come down. The housing market seems to be on a bubble. It just doesn't make sense how expensive everything is. I do agree the answer is to stop fraudulent elections, but guess what? How many people have been relying on the top-down effort to fix elections as well? I can't tell you how many times I've said, like, oh, I haven't seen any progress in the election system. I see somebody in the chat or on social media be like, well, are you blind? Trump is obviously doing something about that. Maybe he is, but we haven't seen evidence of it. So again, are we just going to sit here and wait and hope and pray that that's the case? Or do you go get signed up at your local precinct? Do you go volunteer to hand count ballots or whatever? Again, I don't know what the answer is, and I don't know what the answer is for every one of you in your own local communities. I don't know what it is. I'm just saying. This is what we've been trying to push for at Badlands. It's okay to be highly frictional. And at some point, you have to stop relying on everybody else to do things for you. If you make a mistake, you got to hold yourself accountable. Not just go suing everybody for shit you didn't do. Ramon 222. Unfortunately, John, we can volunteer as poll workers, but we have very limited funds to bring the lawsuits to destroy these deep state cheating systems. Well, is that an answer? Do we need to start some 501c3s so we can launder money and fund some of the poll stuff? Like, I don't know. But we got to start somewhere. And there's no better time to start than now. I would highly encourage you to go to badlandsmedia.tv/groups, click on the icon to find your local group. And that's the first step, is just get involved. Get together with a group of people in your community where you have the same issues. You are dealing with the same local government, or at least the same state government. And that's where you start. I mean, I know it feels overwhelming. Like, oh my gosh, our gas prices are too high. Our groceries are not coming down. Our pets' heads are falling off. Like all these other things. But just sitting there and letting the stress overcome you is not a way to fix anything. At least take the first step and get connected to people who can relate to you. Like-minded people from your area who can relate to the issues that you are having. And that's so easy. You're literally just signing up for a group. And Badlands does not, like, we're technically, for insurance purposes and liability reasons, not even necessarily affiliated with these groups. Like, we don't tell the groups what to do. At least not yet. We've thought about, like, do we need to take a more direct approach to, like, create more structure and how we maybe implement change, but we just haven't really figured out what the change that needs to happen. But I can at least tell you that getting together with like-minded people is such a good first step, because you can get the discussion started and then figure something out, because it's not going to be the same for everybody. So if you haven't yet, join a group, badlandsmedia.tv/groups. Join your local Badlanders group, get together with those people, and start figuring something out in your community. And if there's something we can do to help, we will do so. Just got to reach out. We'll come to those meetings sometimes. We'll come to your area. But sitting on your hands at home isn't going to do it. If you're upset by the current state of things, do something about it. And the thing that I recommend is joining your local group. That's my solution for now. Maybe there'll be more solutions later. I can show you the guys that website too. I'll hold for processing. Badlandsmedia.tv/events. Scroll down. Badlanders meetups. There's a couple meetups coming up. But find a local group. Look how easy that is. You click that. You get taken to a page. You fill out a couple things, and you'll be put in touch with somebody in your area. And if there's nobody in your area, you can start one too. That's super easy. You guys have time once a month to like just, hey, let's go to the local pub, watch the Vikings lose, and talk about our elections or talk about our local government doing something stupid. Then one person's like, hey, I know a guy who's an attorney who can do this thing. And then before you know it, you guys might be able to figure out the solution in your community. And never would have happened if you didn't at least take the first step and get involved and get together. So important. Anyway, apologies for the rant, but also you're welcome for the rant, I feel. If you liked it, you're welcome. If you didn't like it, apologies. Won't happen again. Clutch the weenies in Dallas. Better step up. Does that send you to Telegram? You might. I think most of the groups are based on Telegram, but again, that doesn't have to be the case. Like, you guys can do it for yourself. If you are interested in starting a group in your town or something, and your favorite way to communicate with people is through snail mail, and you want to send a I don't know, pen pal. You want to start a pen pal Badlanders group? Go for it. It's on you guys. But at least take the first step. There's a couple, like, there's not many news items today. It was weird. Like, the big news is the government opened up, and I can bitch about that for a while if you guys want me to. No, why don't we get a quick word from our sponsors? And when things are stressful, guys, maybe y'all just need some shrooms.
Hey there, Earthlings! I'm here on the streets of New York to tell you about something that's literally out of this world. You know, traveling between dimensions really takes it out of you, but I've found the perfect solution. My Shroom Vibe can now be your Shroom Vibe. Elevate your frequency. Get microdose capsules, gummies, and chocolate bars at myshroomvibe.com. Use code BADLANDS for 10% off your order. Trust me, galaxy hopping demands balance, and ours comes from Mother Nature. Organic, not synthetic. It's the real deal. Cy Lee, if you know what I mean. Check it out. Your frequency will thank you. Visit myshroomvibe.com. Organic goodness, not synthetic. Use code BADLANDS.
I gotta say, I kind of dig, like, I've been trying these focus ones. I've only tried them for like 2 days, but I feel like my rants are awesome, aren't they? I feel like I'm way more focused. I don't know, give them a shot. I know people at down at Garcoco Beach were doing the other ones, like the fun time ones, and they were having some fun times. So there's a rant here I wanna address real quick from Jen Cantrell 1776. I think this is perfect. By the way, I am pissed at Trump, even though I think you guys are right and have a great point. Ghost, etc. I may just be angry, period. I'm over politicians who, out of anyone, would you vote for 2028 president? I'm not going to talk about the 2028 president, but guys, that's the point. Since when were we supposed to be like, I love my politicians. Politics makes me so happy. That's the one downside with Trump, is he's such an enigma. Like, he's so lovable. Like, he's funny. He pisses all the right people off. He gives it back to the media. Like, I really like that guy, but we shouldn't be in love and worshiping anybody other than Jesus, but especially not in politics. Like, we should hate all of those people. And we should always think that every single one of them has it out for us and wants to screw us over in some way. I'm not saying Trump does. I don't think he does. Again, we wrote the Devolution series, believe there's a bigger plan going on behind the scenes. But the point of our relationship with our elected officials is not one where it's like, yeah, you're cool, I like you. It's like, how are you trying to screw me over today? And how can I stop you from doing that? That's the point. You should be angry at politics always, even when things are good. When things feel good in politics, something's up, one, but two, it's not good enough. You can love Trump the person, but you should not love any of these people, period. Like, president, as good as they are, it doesn't matter. And unless you know for sure that they are doing everything in your best interest at all times, there's no reason to celebrate that stuff. You celebrate the stuff you like, that you think is good, that fits your principles, and you criticize the things that don't. Full stop. There's no reason, or your love of a government official should not prevent you from criticizing that person. And that's why I think what is happening right now, where people are pissed off with Trump and whatever, it's healthy, it's good, and it's needed. Because too many people, yeah, RT, when did you have too many people worship Trump? And as much as I love him, like that is a bad place to be in, because that's how you black pill out. If you're sitting there waiting and expecting this man that you love to do the thing that's going to just save you and turn your entire life around, when it doesn't happen, like, what do? You doom out. You black pill. It's not healthy. So that's where I'm at. Okay, let's talk about how the Department of Government Efficiency has not updated its website since October 4th, pretty much the entire length of the shutdown, and we're still at $214 billion. I am curious to see what the next estimated savings is from the shutdown. We're actually, check this out. This is how much we're being told. So Department of Government Efficiency has saved us $214 billion, right? Woohoo! But this is what the White House is telling us the Democrats cost us during the shutdown.
Take a look at what the first round of that Democratic fight looked like. Nearly 42 million Americans lost their SNAP food assistance benefits. They were suffering. More than 5.2 million airline passengers faced flight delays and cancellations. 1.4 million federal workers went weeks without pay. And the White House estimates the economy lost about $15 billion every week of those 6 weeks. A massive hit of $90 billion over the entire shutdown. When you count everything all up, you can count them. 10 zeros. House Republican Conference Chair Lisa McClain comes up in focus. First, take a look.
$90 billion? It kind of eats into the $214 billion that we have saved so far. But I mean, all these government employees are going to get their money back. Like, they're going to get paid. Like, everybody's getting back pay. There's a guy at Guard, at least this is his story. He didn't seem to know much about Badlands or its hosts or anything, but he came to the conference, happens to work for the DOD at the Pentagon. He's like a contractor. But he's like, yeah, I'm getting paid right now. I'm a contractor, but I haven't worked in a month and a half. It's like, there's a lot of that going on too. It's crazy. R.T. Jones, John is frustrated, as many of us are. We must channel the frustration into action. Write, phone, email your local politicians. Yeah, it's hard to describe my feelings about it. It's like, I'm definitely frustrated with what I'm seeing, but I think what frustrates me more than what I'm seeing is the amount of people excusing away the bad behavior. That's the real problem, in my opinion. The behavior itself is one thing. And like, these people are going to do whatever we let them get away with. Like, if they see that they can put a Senate bill out there where 8 senators personally enrich themselves to the tune of $500,000, all they have to do is create a law and backdate the wrongdoing and whatever, and hey, I can get a bunch of money. If they can get away with that, they're going to do it. They're going to get away with bad behavior as long as we allow it. How many of you guys have raised kids? If you give your kid a marker and he goes and writes on the walls and the windows and everything, and you don't say, hey, don't do that, or I'm going to ground you or take the marker away or whatever, put you in timeout, they're probably just going to keep writing on the windows and the walls. Like, at some point, you have to not excuse away the bad behavior. It's like, oh, he's just, just trust the plan. He's drawn something on the wall in the window. No. You call it the bad behavior and put a stop to it, in whatever way you can, as soon as you can. That's what frustrates me. The excusing away of bad behavior and us being criticized for not being patient enough and not like celebrating and cheering enough and trusting enough. I'm sorry, but I don't trust anybody. Again, and it's so stupid that I have to keep doing this caveat, but I feel like I have to because I can already like see what people are going to say. I wrote an entire 26-part series called the Devolution series, all about how Trump implemented some form of continuity government plan, walking away from an obviously stolen election. And the whole point of it was to basically put the Biden administration in this box where they couldn't destroy the country. That was a plan that I believe was implemented, and I believe I proved that he put in place behind the scenes that we can't talk about and all these, whatever. Like, I believe there is a plan. Yet I'm still like, I'm going to criticize things, and fuck you if you're going to call me out for that shit, because you're the problem, not you guys in the audience. I'm talking about other people here. Unless you're in the audience criticizing me, then I'm talking directly to you. And apologies for swearing, because I know sometimes a 10-year-old watches the show. My bad. But that's where I'm at. That's racist, John. Noticed? I didn't say anything racist, did I? Okay, sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. But whatever. Let's see if there's anything else we can talk about. So they signed the bill to open the government back up. Passed 222 to 209. And how many of these Republicans were super upset about that thing? The Senate slipped in there, but still voted for it. Ridiculous. We have, here we go. Let me show. This is where I found the number of people that were fired. 4,200 people got across 7 agencies were given reduction in force notices. And let me read this quote from the article that came out from the same rag today, government executive. In one concession to Democrats, the bill will unwind the more than 4,000 layoffs the Trump administration issued during the shutdown. Those reductions in force are currently paused by a federal court, though the injunction is only slated to last as long as the shutdown is in effect. The Trump administration has mostly not indicated whether it will seek to move forward with the reduction in force after the government reopens. So we don't even know if those jobs that are getting reduced to reduce the government waste, fraud, and abuse are even going to stay. It's kind of frustrating. But anyway, the bill's signed. The government is reopened. The weight has been lifted off this country. Travel is going to turn around immediately overnight. Everything's going to be better. All those people on TikTok threatening to violently attack you and steal your belongings if they don't get their SNAP benefits will now get their SNAP benefits so we can sleep safe again. So dumb. Wish it would have stayed shut down forever. What else? Yeah, like I said, there's really not much news. The Epstein thing is kind of going bonkers. That was a big story from yesterday. I know CanCon's been doing a good job covering that. And I think he did a show on his personal channel discussing that. The Democrats were trying to, so dumb. It's hard to imagine that they weren't kind of set up for this. They came out with 3 emails. They redacted a couple names. And were like, look, see Trump Epstein. The House Oversight released all 22,000 emails. And it's still a hoax to me. We talked about this again last night, and I know a lot of people don't agree with me on the Epstein thing, and that's fine. You don't have to agree with me. I'm not gonna spend my emotional capital on the Epstein list situation. I haven't ever really. It's a hoax, in my opinion. Whatever that means, it can mean something different to everybody. Trump has called it a hoax, just like he called the Russiagate thing a hoax. He's called other things hoaxes too. But to me, that means there's some form of fabrication in there, but primarily it's being used as a narrative weapon against Trump. The Epstein saga has been used by people in the MAGA movement, quote unquote, influencers online, and people in government and the mainstream media to damage Trump, to pin it on Trump that it hasn't been fully released and we haven't seen all this evidence that may not even exist. It's ridiculous. But yeah, anyway, it kind of backfired on the Democrats, which is hilarious. Maybe that's the point. The people that are being actually narratively damaged by what's going on, once you read into the actual emails, which to be fair, I have not done. I'm not going to spend time going through 22,000 emails. There's a lot of things I would go through, but because I think this is kind of a nothing burger to this point, until I'm proven wrong, maybe then I'll dig into it. But it's not what we thought it was, or it's not what we were told it was. But anyway, it's definitely backfired on them. Wait, who's extremely ill? Tina Peters? Oh no. Yeah, we'll have to see what we can do. Yeah, that situation sucks too. And it especially sucks because allegedly Trump can't do anything about it, right? He's not a federal prisoner. Can't get a pardon. Colorado's communist, full blown. They're not gonna like willy-nilly let her out. Tina's in trouble. What somebody shoot me a DM on Twitter or something, maybe? And I'll see what I can do. I mean, actually, I can reach out to Tina's team. I just have their number. Needs an x-ray, no appointment immediately. Cancer. Okay. I'll reach out to Alpha. Citizen 1214, we have to stop acting like kids do today and expecting immediate and drastic changes. We simply do not have enough information. The important thing is speaking and communicating concerns. That's what we're doing. We are speaking and communicating concerns. We can simultaneously, and I think our audience is very smart and very tuned in. We can simultaneously understand that things take time while voicing concerns over things that are retarded. Like, that's okay. We can do both things. I don't want to shock you guys, but I can walk and chew gum at the same time. Does that make me better than you? Probably. But I like to think it doesn't. Like to think we're all the same. But we can like multitask in the info war. So like that's it there. That's it right there, though. Like, sometimes things take time. We understand that. But there are things that are happening that we're witnessing with our eyes that are issues that need to be spoken about. And if we just sit here and be like, well, just might take some time. I'll just wait. If you do that long enough, eventually Trump will be out of there. And then what? Then you lose your excuse. Then you lose your excuse, or we'd be like, yeah, I told you so. I mean, I probably will, but it'll be extra shitty because we'll all be like in the gulags or something, probably. I'm done excusing away bad behavior, period. See it, call it out. If there is a plan behind it and eventually that's going to get switched, great. Maybe they want you to complain in order to affect the change. Maybe that is the plan. That's what most people don't consider. But the fact that none of us know what that plan is, that we refer to, like, oh, well, just trust the plan. Whatever. Nobody can actually tell us what is on that plan. Whatever the documents say that is on the plan, none of us know. So we can't use that as an excuse anymore. And I'm not going to allow it. Not going to allow it anymore. We are going to figure out how to do this ourselves. And if you have the same mindset as me, join us. Again, badlandsmedia.tv/events. Find your local group. Get involved. Get connected. Let's figure this out ourselves. Let's stop waiting for somebody to hand us the solution on a silver platter. We can do it ourselves. That's always been my mindset. People drag their feet. People, don't actually get motivated to do anything. So I come along and I'll do it. You can keep talking about it and how you had all these ideas and plans and whatever. I'm gonna actually execute it. Let's figure it out ourselves. And the rest of you guys can sit there and keep excusing my bad behavior. Oh God, this is such a relief. The Senate staffers are going to get their paychecks tomorrow. Oh man, where'd it go? Senate staff to start getting paychecks tomorrow. Email show. So I know we were all worried, but we can again breathe easy tonight, knowing that they're going to get paid again. Okay, so this is the biggie. I would say, and this is what I was asking for from the beginning when it came to Antifa. Is this? I don't know who this Julio Rosas guy is. I don't know if he's got a pretty good following. But he's saying that the State Department is going to be designating Antifa as a foreign terrorist organization as soon as today, per a senior U.S. official. This is in addition to being designated as a domestic terrorist organization. Now, if you remember back from the beginning, and this is a good example of like me voicing concerns and everybody else like celebrating and cheering things along when really there was no reason to celebrate at that point. Maybe this is, but we'll talk about it. When 2020, let's go back that far. Actually, 2019, Trump first starts talking about and designating Antifa as a terrorist organization. Doesn't happen. 2020, Summer of Love, riots all over the place, BLM, Antifa infiltrating all over the place. Again, it gets brought up. He considers it. January 6th happens the night before January 6th. January 5th, he issues that memo where he is tasking the Department of Justice, the Attorney General, State Department, all these other agencies to looking into Antifa and deciding whether or not they should be designated as a domestic terrorist organization. Doesn't happen. Entire Biden administration, doesn't happen. Trump gets back in, says again, yeah, we're probably going to do that. Doesn't happen. Charlie Kirk gets shot in the neck, which by the way, we figured out who did that? What happened there? Because that was a fun distraction. May he rest in peace. But anyway, that is finally the impetus to like, yeah, we're gonna do it now. But he doesn't declare them a foreign terrorist organization. He just declares them a domestic terrorist organization, which isn't even really a thing and comes with no actual teeth. The initial executive order he signed didn't really do anything. And there's not one single person in the history of the United States who has been charged with the crime of domestic terrorism because that is not a law. Our government made a law like where you couldn't spy on their, get their data, and they retroactively made it so they can make a bunch of money, but they don't have a law about domestic terrorism yet. It is a sentencing enhancement that like they'll put on murder or, aggravated assault or whatever with a domestic terrorism and sentencing enhancement, which doubles it, triples it. I don't know. But then he followed up with another executive order that gave it more teeth. The initial one, I was like, what is this? This isn't going to do anything. And people were like, well, just take the win. Like, it's awesome. This is great. Didn't do anything. Second one, I could see like, okay, well, yeah, this makes it look more like the foreign terrorist designation because the foreign terrorist organization, that designation, that has some meat on that bone. You can get some military involvement with that. There's like, there are teeth to the tools that they can use to dismantle foreign terrorist organizations. There isn't much teeth to the domestic one. So this is what I've been waiting for. If it actually happens, this is a good step. And I do believe there is foreign money. And I hope they can show us as to why they're making the switch from domestic or adding the foreign terrorist organization rider, because they probably found something or they had something and they're finally ready to disclose it. But I would love to know which foreign countries are funding and training some of these Antifa people. Is it the Azov Battalion in Ukraine? Maybe. Is there some China involved? Is it Russia? Like, who is it? Let's see. Is it George Soros? I know there's a lot of speculation and rumors, and some of it there's meat on those bones, but we don't really know for sure. Too much speculation with a lot of this stuff. I want to start seeing some actuals. And I'm excited to see where these go, if they go somewhere. Gator Rob, is it just me, or does John insisting on being a know-it-all asshole rub you the wrong way? I'm still here. Have been since the beginning. I'm not going anywhere, but it's my right to have opinions. You absolutely can have your opinions. Absolutely. I'm not trying to, I've actively said I don't have all the answers. But it's the people that tell me that, like, I'm wrong to complain about something as if they know more about what's going on behind the scenes, when the reality is they don't actually have any idea. That's the behavior I'm not tolerating anymore. I don't have a solution. I don't know what the solution is. That's why I'm hoping if we get enough people to join local groups and figure out at a local level what a solution for them is, that we can start affecting some change here. That's where I'm at. I've not once claimed to have all the answers. I'm the one who routinely gets lectured for having an opinion, a more devil's advocate, realistic opinion on things. And that's what's so funny. It's like, I've never said I was going to be the guy that feeds your confirmation bias. And I know there's a lot of people out there that do that. Like they gear their show to make you feel warm and fuzzy, even though half the shit they're selling you is bullshit. But they're doing it because they want you to feel warm and fuzzy and give them money. Like that's why people do it. I'm not that guy. I am not here to make you feel good. And I'm here to make your skin feel soft with softdisclosure.com. Maybe that's part of why I'm here. But I'm going to upset you, hopefully. Highly frictional. That is what the word that we came up with, that is one of the words that defines like Badlands Media. We are not trying to make you feel warm and fuzzy. We need friction back. So yeah, I'm glad you think I'm an asshole. It's working. And I appreciate Gator Rob. I've seen you in the chat before. You are entitled to your opinions. Just sometimes your opinions are lesser than mine. That was a joke. That was a joke making fun of what you said. I didn't mean that. Bitcoin is still dropping. Buying opportunity. What's it at? Hold for processing. Oh, what's it at? My thing won't update on my phone. Hold on. River. Oh, it's under 100,000, guys. I honestly didn't think we'd get below 100K ever again. Yeah, Richard Rohr. John's not a know-it-all asshole. He's a normal asshole, just like we all are. Everyone has one. Exactly. I'm a normal asshole. Yeah. Tell me to F off. I appreciate that. Gold and silver regressing too. Good. Buy an opportunity, guys. You don't get many opportunities like this. I'm telling you, badlandsmedia.tv/river. What's the market doing? Cat Q Patriot. We do what we can, but Trump and his team know so much more than any of us do. To me, that's trust the plan, even though we don't know the plan. So I understand that, and I agree with you. Trump and those guys, they have so much more access to information than any of us do. So much more. But like maybe it's just a mindset thing for me. I've never been one to rely on other people to do things for me. I don't like that. And so sometimes that means like I just, like if it comes, like my house, for instance, like I like mowing, but I literally didn't have the time, so I had to hire somebody to mow. And even that makes me feel like icky. My mom would volunteer to come like help clean the house. And I don't like it. And so the house would get dirty. Thankfully, my girlfriend, she likes to clean. So it's much cleaner now. But like I'm not going to rely on somebody else to do things for me. And if I just don't do it, then it doesn't get done. And that's my mindset with this now too. And it's kind of always been that way. But I feel like I see it so much more clearly now after this last weekend. Like even knowing that Trump and his team, they know so much more than we do. That's great. That's fine. But I'm just not willing to take that risk. I don't feel like there's a guarantee there. I want there to be a guarantee there. I would love to just sit back and think everything's great, not do anything, and put all my eggs in that basket. But I'm not. I like to gamble, but I'm not that kind of gambler. I see that we can affect change ourselves. I really do. I know we can. I know there are people out there, like the Lakeland group, for instance, Vita. She's a fantastic woman. She's amazing. She is so involved, and they are making impacts down in their community. That can happen everywhere. Maybe in some groups that's infiltrating the precincts. Maybe some it's the school board. Maybe some it's the county board. Like I don't even know all the groups. It's going to be different everywhere. But people in your community, you guys will have a better idea of what it takes to fix your community than I would. But you got to start somewhere. At least get connected. Rug pulls all the way down. Rebel Nader. I agree. Did you recover, Rebel Nader, from Burning Bright's lashings last night? It was a fun episode last night, but Burning Bright happened to take offense to something Rebel Nader said, and it was kind of funny. So I'm glad you're back. Good to see you back here. You're still hurting? Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Gator Rob, clear skies in San Antonio. I wonder if now that the government is funded again and open, if we're going to see chemtrails pop back up like they were. But anyway, I think that's all I had. I mean, I probably had more, but again, nothing really exciting in the news. A lot of political theater with the Epstein stuff and the shutdown, and I don't know, nothing crazy. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk today. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. Did I do the ads? Oh, I got to do one more ad I'll have soft disclosure, but I also want to give a shout out to Benson Honey Farms. Mo was amazing. Mo was still recovering. I should reach out to her in California. She went through the surgery. It was like, she'd been in the hospital for almost 3 months. If she's still in the hospital, she's been there for like 3 months, and she was almost on her deathbed. Like, it was not good. And so, we've asked for prayers a couple times. Truly, keep them in your prayers. We appreciate that. I know they appreciate it. She's hopefully pulling through, and she's somebody who's affecting change in her local level. She's very involved in Nebraska politics, but she's also selling some amazing honey. Welcome to Benson Honey Farms, where every jar is pure gold. Benson Honey is excited to be back on Badlands Media with their latest 2025 honey harvest straight from their farm in Nebraska. Well, they've been busy working to improve their state politics from the ground up. They never forgot the importance of sharing the best honey around. Did you know honey isn't just a sweet treat? It's nature's medicine, perfect for alleviating allergies, soothing upset stomachs, or as a delicious natural sweetener for baking. Benson Honey is never heated, ensuring you receive it in its pure, raw form, full of natural goodness. Benson Honey Farms' quality and purity is top priority, and they're committed to providing the finest honey from hive to home. Join the supportive community and enjoy a special offer. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/honey and use promo code BADLANDS for 15% off your purchase. It's Benson Honey Farms. Savor the authentic taste of Nebraska and support America's first businesses. Follow on Facebook at Benson Honey Farms. There's a typo in this ad read because they are not America's first business. I do not believe Benson Honey Farms, while they are awesome and they are an America first business, they are not America's first business. So I'll have to remember that for next time. Anyway, hit that thumbs up. Get yourself some soft disclosure. Support Badlands Media in the process. What is going on today on Badlands? I know Sit Rep tonight. G Money, Rug Pull Radio. He'll be talking about buying opportunities. Quite frankly, hang around, give us a follow, hit the thumbs up, share with your friends. We do need to get a Badlander in office one of these days. Guys, it's gonna happen. Walbert Ford, thanks for being an asshole every day for us. I appreciate you. I'll be the asshole for y'all. I'll be your asshole if that's what you need me to be, as long as you guys join me. Well, you know what? When we were in Irvine, this reminds me, and then I'll sign off here. When we were in Irvine, I made a joke. This is like the second conference we ever did. And I got up there and I was like doing my opening monologue, and I had this whole thing planned in my head. It was like, this can be so funny, such a great metaphor. I was like, we are in the butthole of America, California. And that makes us like the dingleberries. Like we're sticking around. We refuse to go away, or I don't know, something like that. And afterwards, like I just call us all dingleberries. I would talk about buttholes on stage at Gart. So dumb. But you know what? I'll be the asshole if you guys will be my dingleberries. Love you guys. Hit the thumbs up. I will see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Daily Herald.
Before skincare went synthetic, people used something simple, something real: tallow. Grass-fed and finished beef tallow is packed with vitamins A, D, E, and K. Nutrients your skin actually knows what to do with. It locks in moisture, restores elasticity, and defends against winter dryness. No water, no preservatives, and no BS. Unlike plant oils or chemical creams, tallow mimics your skin's own structure. Elbows, hands, knees, post-shave, anywhere your skin's crying for real moisture. Perfect for gifting or keeping your own skin soft when the cold hits. Visit softdisclosure.com and use promo code Badlands for 15% off. Ancient Care, modern truth.
Soft disclosure.
0. 1.
Extra, read all about it.
2. 3. Let's get started.
That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me? Stopping me.